Oh,
there you go. No. Yeah, okay, we're back.
Okay.
Yeah, so VRchive is a social media platform for people to create and share their virtual memories. In short, it's kind of like Imager, but for VR. So we make it easy for people to create, share, and view their 360-degree moments and share it through multiple platforms using virtual reality and non-virtual reality technology.
Cool. So what sort of moments and memories do you guys have shared right now?
Well, typically our bread and butter is kind of social VR. It's kind of like Second Life or Minecraft. People can go on virtual adventures together, and it's not really a game. There's no point to it other than just having fun and being new people and building new things. So that is really unique for people because they can capture content they've made in VR and then share it out and show someone what they've built. Whether they've built like a crazy new castle or they've coded an entire room to look like Rick and Morty or something. It's a new way for people to kind of express themselves through the content they've made and make it easy for other people to see it as well without having to send them expensive virtual reality technology. They can just share it with a link now.
That sounds really awesome. So can you tell us more about how you guys got started, why you thought of this?
Yeah, so we've been working with virtual reality for about 3 or 4 years now. My co-founder, Cut was actually one of the first backers of the Oculus Rift Kickstarter. So he was in that first batch of developers to get their hands on the first DK1. And from there, we started hacking together some few things. I met him at a makerspace, and that's kind of how we got together. And we noticed, there was not many like utility tools in VR. A lot of them was just like one-time experiences, like a roller coaster. You would try it, you go in, but it's all the same, and you try it a few times, but you don't really come back to it. We wanted to build a VR experience that was always fresh and new, and you had a reason for you to come back, like how Instagram, you come back because there's a content or new upload like every second or less than a second now. So we wanted to create a platform kind of like Instagram where there was always fresh new content and you could discover things every time you came on the platform.
Cool. That's awesome. So I don't think the platform is quite available yet. Is that true?
We're in private beta right now. But if you email me at evan@vrchive.com, we're happy to share with you the beta and you can help us test a few bugs out.
Cool. That sounds awesome. And when do you think you guys will be fully ready?
I'd say in less than a month. So we're pretty close. We just launched, or soft launched our Gear VR app on Siloed VR, which is kind of like a mini app store. If you're into Gear VR things, you might have heard of it before. That's like, but for VR apps. So if you have a Samsung Gear VR, you can get it on the Siloed store right now. And that's our native build. And for web, we're just at VRchive.com.
Cool. So is there a way people can sign up on your website or just email you, Evan?
Yeah, you can just email me. We're actually modifying that lock page right now so you can request the code. So hopefully we'll give you days. Yeah.
Cool.
Because the platform's pretty much ready. There's just a few small things. We want to make it flow really nicely.
Awesome. So I'd also love to know, what is one of your favorite VR experiences?
Tilt Brush is definitely one of my favorites. Besides Bullet Train, but Bullet Train's not really an official experience. It's kind of just a demo, but it's a pretty freaking cool demo. But we don't have that right now. We blow it up usually. But it's just, Bullet Train's just a beautiful experience for one. And it's very intuitive. Like you can't not know how to play this game. Like you just like pick up guns and throw them at people and you shoot things. Like it's not that hard. And Tilt Brush is the same. It's very intuitive. It's Tilt Brush is a 3D painting experience. Space. Your hands are basically giant paintbrushes. You just draw things, and no one really, usually gets lost in there, which is what I like about VR. I don't like explain to people like, oh, the button's here or this is here, or you have to move this just to get it. Just put you in and let you kind of figure it out. And Tilt Brush, most people figure it out. There's not that many buttons. So
no.
Yeah.
Have you been to Upload VR?
Yes.
That's where I experienced the Tilt Brush for the first time.
That's fun.
I think we made a giant tree, and it was a collaborative effort. We put like coconuts in it, and the tree was like sparkling and on fire. Definitely felt very natural and clean, like a paintbrush.
It's really good. That's one of the things that definitely one of the. I don't know if you're going to get a lot of people looking at VR in a different way. It's not specifically a game. A lot of people just think VR is just about gaming and only gamers are going to buy it, but you know, it's just a whole new medium. There's going to be artists, creators, and film people, all VR now. They're not just gamer people.
Yeah, one thing I like is that it's also, you can waste fewer resources. So being able to test out an idea once you have paintbrush makes it easier to kind of create something in 3 dimensions, and then be able to see or how it might look together before you actually follow through. So we help accelerate idea creation, waste less on the planet, which would be a good thing.
Yeah. Usually people, one of the things my friend usually does is he draws like a car around him, so it acts like he's sitting like in a car. And you can just like lay underneath it after and look under the car and draw the bottom and everything. Yeah,
Cool.
It's a very cool way to 3D model things too.
I'm a huge math geek, and so I was trying to explain something in 3 dimensions, and I think having something like paintbrush where I can actually draw out a coordinate grid system. I mean, can you imagine for math teachers being able to explain calculus and those sort of things and see derivatives in real time, or be able to step inside of a graph to see 3 dimensions? I think it'll definitely change the future.
That's a new one. That could be interesting. Yeah, I've heard that one.
Google definitely come up with something incredible. I definitely enjoy it.
Yeah, they made a good acquisition.
For sure. Cool. So, what was your first VR experience? How long have you been in the space?
It was the roller coaster demo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I did it standing up for the first time, and that wasn't a good idea.
So
Almost fell over.
That was with the Oculus?
Yeah, that's the DK one. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that was 3 years ago. Yeah.
Awesome. So what do you see being the biggest thing to change in VR in the future? Or
that will change?
where do you think things are headed, or
okay.
How do you think VR will change the world? Either one of those are good questions.
I definitely think we're going to go away from actual controllers. There's a company called Leap Motion right now that's doing a lot of good things with hand tracking. So you can bring your hands in. It's another form of immersion. You don't have to tell someone how to use their hands. They do not use their hands, obviously. So we're trying to make things like that where, in order to take pictures, you just make a little box or something with your hands. You don't have to figure around buttons or anything. And, right now the tech is actually pretty good. If you guys looked up the Dragonfly video on YouTube, it's pretty mind-blowing. You just look up Leap Motion Dragonfly. It's a really good demo video. A lot of it's not publicly, they're not giving them out yet, sadly. But hopefully we'll be one of the first to get it when they do release it to the developer. What else? I know social VR is definitely one of the big things that takes off first. Just because it's, people already notice this VR that people think people want that whole crazy out of the world experience, but after a while, you want to do the same things that you usually do with VR. People are not going to change their lives for VR to adapt to their lives they usually do. So if you can do social VR instead of Skype or even flying across the world to meet people, they're probably going to do that first and okay, I'm going to play this super awesome alien game, but I don't usually play alien games. So how often I'm really going to come back to this game? It's going to be the little things I know there's one that's really popular. It's fishing in VR, which is not that super amazing, right? But it's a lot of fun actually. It's actually a lot better than people think it is. It doesn't sound that mind-blowing, but it's still really fun. If you like fishing, you still like fishing in VR.
I haven't experienced that one. Can you actually catch fish? Is there hand tracking and those sort of things, or how do you?
I think it's your VR app, so there's not hand tracking yet. But there's a lot of them they just pool in VR. There's one of my other friends just made casino, just basically just playing poker in VR. But it's not totally mind-blowing experience. But it's something people do. People play poker, people fish. They're going to do that when they're used to fishing and playing poker.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I know me and my brother would bond over playing video games growing up. So I'm sure there'll be a whole new generation of kids. Bonding and experiencing.
Yeah, I mean, there's always E-Valkyrie, which is the classic dog fighter game. But there's probably going to be an esports thing for that too. And it's actually kind of hard of a game to play. It's actually going to be there's going to be more skill in game than ever before, actually, with VR. Because some of the games are actually pretty hard to play. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, especially because you can get into 3 dimensions. It's not just up, down, move faster, jump.
Yeah, like I've seen the omnidirectional um, paths you run up and down on. And those things are actually really tiring. I did that the first time at Oculus Connect last year. And it was actually right after lunch, and I should not have done that. I should have eaten after. I was so tired after doing that. I felt like I just ran like 3 miles or something. Because we wanted to get through the end of the demo, so we were like, we only had 5 minutes, you know. So we were just like sprinting through. We ignored all the bonus things. We were just trying to get to the end to see what was at the end of the game.
Sounds pretty motivational.
Yeah, because no one ever got to the end. It always like blacked out. It said time out, next person or something.
Do you think they'll have those in gyms soon?
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. There's always people always seem to want more motivation for working out. So, especially in America, we're kind of lazy people sometimes. But
Have you played Pokemon Go?
I have. There's actually a stop right downstairs.
I've not played it yet. So I tried downloading it, but it wouldn't download onto my phone.
Yeah.
So,
It took me a while. I was actually on like a waiting list, I think,
yeah,
to download
it's probably pretty popular.
It's pretty crazy. But it's interesting when people consider that to be like AR when I mean, we had this tech before, so it's not like using the HoloLens or everything. So for me, it's not like new AR. So to me, it's like that's cool, but it's not like new tech for me. If that makes sense. It wasn't like groundbreaking like HoloLens kind of tech.
Yeah. So our experience was working on headsets when I was in high school, and so for me, like I recognize the potential and what AR could be, but I think for most people who have never experienced augmented reality, I think it's a good
it's a good little teaser.
And to an untrained eye, there's not a whole lot. There's not necessarily a whole lot of difference. I mean, it does do a little bit of image recognition, so it can tell when it's around plants or those sort of things. So.
Yeah, it's definitely a good start though. There's a lot of articles about that, how Pokemon is the killer AR app. But we'll see. I don't know. I think it's kind of early yet to say that anything was killer yet. But it's on the App Store, but we'll see. Yeah.
I'm always curious too as to not just what's new and big, but how long things are sustained. So I wonder how much the app usage will.
I think I read an article that they did plateau on users, so we'll see what happens next. And they had that whole PokeVision controversy thing, and their app rating is like really low now, but no one really cares about the app rating if they already know about it, I guess. So.
I think it'll be interesting to see whether or not it continues to be a trend. I know my little brother loved Pokemon.
Back to nostalgia. Like the names are the same. It's brings you back a little bit.
Especially being out here in Silicon Valley, I get the feeling that we're all growing up to be big children instead of instead of adults like our parents. There's so many things to play with and so many different ways to explore the world. And so much of it is new and fresh.
Yeah. I don't think I really worked the actual like adult job really. My first job was in a startup, so I never actually. Well, I worked for the state. I worked for the bank for like a couple of months. But I was like, that was like I actually had like a designated like desk and schedule and things. But other than that, most of my jobs have just been startups. So I never had to experience that too much.
Somebody told me that people who move to San Francisco or the Bay Area get Peter Pan syndrome, where they never want to grow up officially. So the more people I meet, the more I find that sometimes there are just really big kids who are doing responsible things.
Or irresponsible things.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
What was the startup you worked at?
It was a company called Flow Water. Essentially, it was a hardware startup. We just built these water refill stations the campaign was go green, eliminate plastic water bottles was the mission of the company. So the goal was to replace those 5-gallon water jugs with these water machines that you plug into the wall. Essentially, it gives out quality water out the bottles. And now they're in I think they just got one in GoPro. There's a few at Google. They're trying to get them on every single CrossFit gym in SoCal. Because apparently CrossFitters love this stuff. So I'm not a CrossFit person, but apparently they love this stuff. So that's kind of like their bread and butter now is CrossFit gyms and big workspaces like Google or big campuses. There's one in Iolani schools in Hawaii. I think there's one of a bunch of different colleges now. But yeah, that was like 4 years ago I started. The co-founder was actually one of my really good friends. He's like, Clay, you never think he would do anything. He's like no background. He's just like total surfer dude with total hustler at the same time. This guy never gives up. So he's a good founder.
That's awesome. It's probably a good strategy.
Yeah.
For sure. So you're from Hawaii?
Yeah.
Do you like it better here or in Hawaii?
There's different. I like both for different reasons. So definitely here is better for work. Like ever since we came here, we've only been here for like 6 months. It seems like we've been here for like years by the amount of like crap we've got. Because like there's like meetings back to back, and everyone's just much more willing to make moves and things, and you kind of have to like keep up with the Jones in a way. If I'm making moves, I have my umpire's making moves, everyone else is making moves. In Hawaii, there's not really that pace. It's like, oh yeah, we'll meet next week. But Hawaii's great. There's still a lot of really exciting activities there. It's just hard to match the pace of Silicon Valley. Yeah, I think anywhere in the world it's hard to match the pace of Silicon Valley. So yeah,
definitely, I agree. Very cool. Is there anything else that you want to share about VRchive or any sort of releases or updates?
If you're a Unity developer, definitely check out our plugin. It's called 360 Panorama Capture. It's free, and if you're building a VR experience, it's a great, easy tool for you to kind of show people what you're working on, even though you haven't really built out a full experience yet. Or maybe you're thinking about building one later and you just want to test things out. It's a great plugin to kind of get started with. It's also under the list of VR essentials on Unity. There's a bunch of other tools on there that will help you get started with your VR development. And typically, Unity is your easiest tool to get started with, unless you're used to working with other engines in the past. I would definitely recommend Unity as your. And that's it. If you have any other questions anytime, feel free to hit me up at evan@vrchive.com or tweet at us at VRchive. We're always there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so very much. And I look forward to you guys inside of a headset.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thanks.